Hi, everybody. Welcome to Breeders Cup Focus. I'm Dan Illman along with Mike Beer, and let's throw up the major contenders for this year's Breeders Cup Juvenile. They are ranked in preliminary morning line order. This morning line was compiled by our colleague David Aragona. 9-5 on Dennis's Moment, the morning line favorite for this year's Juvenile. I think there are a lot of talented two-year-olds this year, Mike, and perhaps none more so than Dennis's Moment. 97 Beyer speed figure, winning his maiden at Ellis Park by almost 20 lengths, then stretched out around 2 turns and had absolutely no issue at Churchill Downs in the Iroquois.
Yeah, he looks like a supremely talented two-year-old. This division, though, has really started to come together the last few weeks. We've seen some breakout performances. Assuming everybody makes it there, Dan, this could be some kind of horse race, but I do think Dennis's Moment might be the horse to beat. He's been that impressive.
I agree. I think he is the horse to beat. He has shown good tactical speed. He relaxes. He's professional. He is mature for a two-year-old. 8 Rings, 2-1, your second choice. Has always had a lot of buzz surrounding him. A, probably because he's from the Bob Baffert barn. B, he was working brilliantly, and he had all sorts of problems in the Del Mar Futurity throwing his rider, and he had something to prove last time out in the American Pharoah Stakes. We'll take a look at the stretch run of this race, and we see 8 Rings went right to the front, controlled the action. American Theorem, the second-time starter, made a run at this horse on the turn, and 8 Rings just turned him away. But to me, 8 Rings is looking a little tired here in the last 16th.
Yeah, I think he is too, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, Dan. It's the first time they went 2 turns with him, and I think it's worth noting in this race that Johnny Velasquez, who was riding, really sent this horse. He wanted to lead with this horse, and they went pretty quick to get it. After that, he was in charge, but they used him early. I respect that he got tired at the end. I think that's probably a good thing for him. This horse has a lot of talent. He's got a lot of speed.
Maxfield certainly improved second time out in the Claiborne Breeders Futurity at Keeneland. He was a very visually impressive debut winner at Churchill Downs. He made this gigantic sweeping move on the turn. That gray horse, Governor Morris, is a nice one, and Maxfield just put him in the rear view window in a matter of strides.
Yeah, this was a really impressive win. We were talking about how quickly this division's come together recently, and this is, one of the reasons why. This horse took a huge step forward in his second start. He made an early move into that race and kept going. He is bred to go on. He's well connected. There's tons to like about this horse too.
One of the early leaders of the division was Green Light Go, who skipped the Hopeful Stakes because the track came up wet, and his trainer Jimmy Jerkins decided to wait for the Champagne. Now, he ran in the Champagne against a very impressive Tiz the Law, who is not running in the Breeders' Cup. He's down on the inside. He made the running, and while he's no match for Tiz the Law, he is pretty game to come back down towards the inside to get a placing. Do you think he needed this race off a mini layoff and will do better second time out? I mean, he's a big, growthy two-year-old. I don't think distance should be a problem for him.
Yeah, I don't think it should be either, but, we'll find out more about him. Obviously, getting beat by Tiz the Law is no disgrace. That horse has been super impressive in his 2 races, and Green Light Goes is no match for him. I don't know that I felt like he had a big excuse in the Champagne, Dan. He was contesting the pace. He was no match at the end, but I'll respect that he battled on to be second best in there. We'll see if he can improve stretching out, because he's going to have to improve to beat the horse we've already talked about.
Let's take a look at our juvenile list one more time. Scabbard chased Dennis's Moment in vain last time out. Do you see any upside for this horse? I think he has some potential.
Yeah, I do. I think he does have some upside. He's a pretty nice horse. And he was no match for Dennis's Moment last time, but he ran well in that race.
And American Theorem, who we saw finish second to 8 Rings in the American Pharoah race, I thought he was pretty professional in his debut, raiding in behind horses, easing out in the stretch, and once he changed leads, he leveled off very nicely. I thought that the American Pharoah was a really good learning experience, just on a hard chase throughout and easily second best.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's another horse who could easily take a step forward come Breeders' Cup time. This is another nice two-year-old.
This is a very good group of two-year-old colts. Dennis's Moment, 9-5 the morning line favorite. 8 Rings for Bob Baffert, 2-1. Don't sleep on Maxfield. Visually impressive in 2 starts. Just looped him last time out in the Claiborne Futurity. And Green Light Go has some credentials. 12-1 on David Aragona's morning line. But as of right now, Dennis's Moment, the story of the juvenile.